I'm Max Damage. We're here with the evolution of Golgari Aggro. This deck was a big help getting to Mythic last month, and I want to show you just how this deck evolved into the powerhouse it is currently. Stick around to the end of the video so you can see where the deck started and how it got to where it is now. If you watch the MTG Rebellion Stay of the Meta videos, you know how much this deck loves to linger in Tier 1 and Tier 2. With so many must-answer threats, it's no wonder this deck has achieved 20 top 8 appearances in the last month alone. Standard competitive play, and among those, 5 first-place finishes. How does it go toe-to-toe with the likes of Domain or Mono Red Aggro? First, the curve from turns 1 through 4 are amazing. With at least 11 creatures in the 1-2 drop slot, we have so many ways to gain from a turn 3 Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. The 3-drop slot is really no joke though. Lord Skitter, Sentinel of the Nameless City, Glissa, several other candidates make this a significant slot for the deck. Numerous threats and targeted removal up and down the curve allow this deck to beat down the front door and still retain card advantage as the payoff for doing so. You'll see the sideboard go through several iterations, but it mostly stays against the hyper aggro decks with turn 1 hand hate against mid-game threats. Terra Sunder along with Frillback and Liberator make up sideboards for this archetype, based on the fact that we're still seeing artifacts and enchantments frequently in the meta. The deck is a competitor, especially with the standard RCQ season approaching, so let's jump into all the matches from the past month and see just how the deck does. Alright, let's take a look at our first match. We have 11 matches total for you today. Alright, we start with the tap land with the Cottage. We had Evolved Sleeper in the early versions of the deck. You'll definitely see me transition over to better creatures in the 1-drop slot. But already we're seeing Deep Cavern Bat up against Gruul Dinos apparently. Evolved Sleeper becomes a 2-2. Fight Rigging for the opponent comes down, so it's a Fight Rigging Gruul Dinos deck. Oh my god, they already have Dracosaur out, along with the Pugnacious Hammerskull. Alright, so we try to draw some removal. Does not work, but we still have a full board. We still have Glissa. Going for 3. We decide to destroy Fight Rigging. Have to get rid of Fight Rigging, otherwise this match is done. We also had Phyrexian Flesh Scourger in this early iteration of the deck, early December. Videos from December 1st, actually, so beginning of the season. Alright, opponent has a bat. Too big of a board state with the Atali. They stole our bat, so we go into sideboarding. Alright, so we know what we did there. We remove the cut downs because there's nothing to remove with it. We want to aim towards the bigger threats. Dreams of Steel and Oil comes in so that we can get rid of the bigger threats before they land. We don't have counter spells in Golgari, but we do have cards like Dreams of Steel and Oil, which you'll see me frequent. A lot of people don't use that card. I don't know why. You know, it's kind of like the flip side of Duress, but it also gets rid of artifacts. And we have to mulligan, so we drop a land. Dreams of Steel and Oil. What did that hit? Go back. Okay. We're putting Carnosaur or the Lore Keeper are our choices. We take the Lore Keeper. We don't want them to ramp in. That hits the Carnosaur. We've also hit the Fight Rigging. But Carnosaur is removable. Here comes the Fight Rigging. Nothing to boost up, thank goodness. Definitely need one more land so we can play the Nissa. When it plays Zendikar. Oof. Ramp and Gruul Dinos, you get nervous, right? They have so many big threats at 6 and 7. Alright, so we're pecking them with the bat. Hammer Skull comes down, which means their fight rigging gets to go off. So not an ideal situation for us. Right, but Glissa hits, destroys the fight rigging. We go for the throated the Hammer Skull before it could become a big threat, right? So we sat on that in such a way that we made sure that this did not go off, that they didn't play the card underneath. Make sure you do that before the fight rigging trigger. Alright, so from here it's pretty much like, it looks like we're home free, right? This, even when you have to pay with 2 Phyrexian mana, very valuable card. I mean, just immediately puts out a 4/4. And you see it's enough for our opponent to concede. Alright, so we're dropping Lord Skitter, picking up Frillback. Notice some enchantment play. We had Painful Quandary in the deck. We drop Flesh Forger, pick up another Frillback. Alright, so big game 3 against Gruul Dinos. Let's see how we do. Alright, so Dream Steel and Oil, Painful Quandary, Mosswood Dread Knight, Blossoming Tortoise. We're hoping to get to that Tortoise. Drop here the Lore Keeper. Hope that they go mana hungry. Alright, play the Bat. Probably get rid of a 3-drop here, or Glimpse the Core. Yeah, Glimpse the Core. Don't let them get there. Should have taken Triumphant Chomp. Did slow them down. Alright. That does it. We get game 3 just from frustrating them through their mana base and not getting the land drops that they needed. Deep Cavern Bat, obviously the MVP in that last matchup. So definitely put in quite a bit of work there. Gotta love it. Alright, up against the Magic P. What do we do here? I'm willing to say that we keep this hand. Especially if the opponent goes first, we might draw a threat. Or Lander with the opponent goes first is tough though. So I wouldn't be surprised if we also mulligan. Alright, Dreams of Steel and Oil hits. Hits a big card. I love it. Doing its work. Alright, so playing against Merfolk. We're trying the Kindred archetypes from Ixalan early in the month, I noticed. Then that kind of died away. Even Dinos got less and less play over time. So we come out with the Skitter. We want to go wide as well. Present a threat so they can't just swing with everything. Rumming Throne. One of the newer cards that saw a lot of play, especially in the Pirates deck. Alright, 4 mana. Get rid of the River Scout, I believe. Yeah. Tidebinder, got to get rid of Tidebinder. Don't attack because they have a 4/4. Can't bring it, unless we draw land, we can't bring in Ogier Kostlin yet. It's pronounced Ogier. O'Hare. I don't know. I'm sorry if I mispronounced. Developing a dominant board state here. So we do draw the land. We get to play the God. 6/5 with Trample. When it hits, we get to land and creature from the top 4, I believe. Alright, 14/14 is the match. They Fading Hope our God, which is probably one of the best things you can do. Can't really get rid of it. Not through destruction. Alright, Deep Cavern Bat and Glissa. Alright, 9-7. We're in the lead here. We have a Glissa untapped. Deep Cavern Bat Chump Blocker. Looking pretty good right now. And play Gix because we know we're going to draw some stuff. Serious stuff. And just swing through. And down to 1. billion Gix triggers. I think that does it for match 1. Alright. We're stealing oil, cut down, come in. Thinking about dailies, you're thinking about peril, we bring in peril. We drop the tortoise, we drop the god, we drop the flesh gorger, we drop the quandary, we drop Nissa, we drop 1 shelter down to 3. This was back when we were running 4, like a full play set of Shelly as well. So you'll see this deck go through several evolutions. That's one of those things, is you're starting to see less and less Shelly get play in the main boards of the black-based decks. It's wild to think about that that's happening, but it is, it is definitely a thing. So, our opponent, I think, takes all the time in the world here to sideboard. So I think they take up the full minute and a half here. Nope, they go minute 10. So they have a ton of adjustments to make. I do not blame them, especially as a Merfolk Kindred deck. All right, 2, 3, 3, 3 is the curve. Good 3 drops, especially being able to go Cavern Bat into Gix. That tends to work out really well. Cottage comes in first. It is a tap land. You'll see me do that a lot. A lot of decks right now are 2-drop heavy, so you'll see me play the tap land on turn 1 a lot of the time when we get away with it. 2-3 comes in, hits us. We're at 18. Drop our 3rd land, and we go with Gix for the play. Looking across, and I'm not worried about counter spells right now. Hidebinder, however, hits, so stops our Gix. That's pretty much a chump blocker to me. We use it to kill their legendary, and we get the win for our first rank in the Platinum Tier 3. Not bad, not bad. Let's move on to the next match. So here, 4-lander, but we have the removal, the bat, and the Dread Knight. Hoping that we draw something like a Gix. That would be nice. Tough to see. Let's see. What is our opponent? They are on the play. Okay, so we do draw a Gix. That reveals what our opponent has. We're going to have to get rid of the removal. You always want to aim for a removal. Or another bat, but it'll force the removal if you aim for the bat. It just depends on what if you're trying to push something through like a Gix or a Shelly, you may want to take not the removal and force the removal. Another strategy as well. Alright, so what do we do here? Look at our opponent. It's hard to tell what they were going to play. So bring in Duress, take away the cut downs, take away Quandary, take away the Flesh Gorger. Dream Steel and Oil comes in. You can't go too wrong with being able to see the opponent's hand, even if you don't hit the targeted card every time. The double mulligan here, so we drop 2 lands because we have Bat, Dread Knight. We draw the Steel and Oil. We're able to get rid of the bat. Always a good target, being able to get rid of the bat with Dream Steel and Oil. Alright, we bat ourselves, we get rid of their Bloodletter. They have the Mind Shaper mech, I think is what it's called, Mind Link mech. Takes on the properties of the thing that crewed it. Alright, they play Gix. We gotta figure it out because they're about to draw some cards. Still early in the game, so that's not an ideal situation for us. So we draw the Glissa, play the Glissa, put an attack, get our lifelink 2016. We're up. Our opponent plays Preacher of the Schism. So basically they get a flying Preacher of the Schism. That's a 4/3. Gix goes off. Not looking too good. What do we do here? Attack with everything. No, they're not going to block with anything worthy. Unless it gets a kill on the 1/1 lifelinker. We go up, 18-13. We draw an extra card by spending 2 mana for the Dread Knight, and then bring the Dread Knight in on the backside as a 3/2 and Evolve Sleeper. So we fill up the board. Definitely going to draw cards here, right? Because they have a flyer. Nothing we can do about that. Now, because they're underneath us in life total, they get a 1/1 lifelink creature every single time they do that. Cavern Bat doesn't have a target. Alright, so the good thing about Evolve Sleeper was that it was a great mana sink, and that was part of what I used it for back then. So we got tons of mana, we're just going to use our mana sink here. Draw an extra card. Ooh, so a well-timed Fairy Mastermind from the opponent. Alright, we strike with the ground forces. Pretty even, trying to break the standoff. No matter what they block with the Gix, it's not ideal. The Dread Knight comes back later, has recursive powers. Everything else gets to go through or kill something else. 12 to 8 is the score. Mindling Mech comes in. So they have 3 flyers in the air. See what we decide to do here. They know they can't just attack, right? Because the backswing is going to get them. Okay, so they swing with the 3-4 and the 4-3. Schooner and the mech. They get to go down to 5, they get to draw 2. The damage for that is starting to become significant now, a factor. Go down to 6. Play another mech. 2 mana open. You have enough mana to go for Throat and Sheldred this turn. What do we choose to do here? First you attack. Yeah, they block. So we save the bat. Could make it a 5-5, win the battle, and draw an extra card. Or we can play the Shelly at the end of the turn. I'd let it die. Alright, and then do we go for it? Do we play the Shelly with 2 open mana, 5 cards in their hand? We do. We live on the edge. Looking back, I probably wouldn't have made the same choice. Bitter Triumph takes care of Shelly. They bring in a Bloodletter. Ugly, folks. Take a ton of damage. A wild amount of damage. Like 24 damage. Okay. So, what's our plan here? Cut downs. Reduce the duresses to 1. And that's it. We want to make sure we have the early game removal. Alright. Let's see how game 3 goes. A lot of game 3 is pretty dramatic. Alright, the 2 mana we play Bat. Bat takes a bat. Alright, the cut down hits the Mastermind. They were expecting to block with the Mastermind. Flash block. You'll see that. Fairy Mastermind is kind of the Dimir and Esper's way of getting back at bat players. They have it, and you can kill with the Mastermind. If they don't have it, then Mastermind is its own valuable piece you add to your board. To play bat, we're going to steal our Aclazotz. Sucks. It's a shame because we have the mana to play it next turn. Alright, Preacher gets in. This is game 3. How do we overcome this? Do we overcome this? Alright, Death Touch kills the lifelink. Draw an extra card. Another bat. Which is fine. We don't have anything for them to take. Gives them swings along with their bat. 17-16 is the score. We bring in Gix. Attack with the Evolved Sleeper. Pretty much a Mexican standoff situation. They have one more bat than I do, but only one of their bats is holding an Aclazotz. How do we break this stalemate? They're attempting to break it with Creature of the Schism. Not looking good. We could start swinging with Restless Cottage. We could sacrifice the Boseiju, Gix's ability. I think swinging with the cottage is probably the best choice here. They kill the Gix, they have to sacrifice to allow me to get back Aquazats. So not a great... It feels good for me to attack into, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, swing in. Get 2 Gix triggers. Score is 13 to 10. We're up again. Alright, so... very similar situation to earlier. They play their own Gix this time. Alright. Sentinel of the Nameless City. What do we do here? We give it to the bat. Map token. Nope, we spin it on Gix. Get a bat on top. Alright, let's swing. Pressure the opponent. Getting close to fatal strikes here, so you're going to want to block some. And a lot of these blocks are unfavorable. Alright, Vera Triumph on the Gix. What are we going to grab here? This is a tough choice, but we grab the Nissa. We can definitely make use of the Nissa. And they steal it with the bat. Things are looking pretty grim right here. Oof. You get to draw 2. This is really tough. Swing with the cottage. Oh. Then there's Bitter Triumph. Up to 6, we're still ahead somehow. Also, Dread Knight on top, we leave it. And there's just no way through. With the bats, with Gix, you can see why Dimir is a good deck. But yes, they use those tools to basically gain card advantage enough to beat us, which is our tactic as well, as you'll see in the next set of videos. Alright, so these take place during DreamHack. December 15th is when these were. Turn 2. Deep Cavern Bat takes away Go for the Throat. Always have to take away the removal. Turn 3, we have Dreams of Steel and Oil. We take away Decadent Dragon, which is their next play. Venture card, so we don't even want to mess with it when it gone. Alright, so we get Brotherhood's Ended. Very efficient card right now against all the Deep Cavern Bat decks. Sentinel comes out as a strong 4/5. Oh, but then they follow up with Shelly. Alright, we use the map token to make Sentinel into a 5/6. Definitely take that trade. Rickosaur comes down for the opponent, so we're going to go and fetch with Takenuma. We get a Gix. Alright, play both creatures. And we really see no way out. With Dracosaur still there, no response for it, I think we're just in a really tough battle. So, go to the sideboarding. Alright, so Drop the duress. Brimstone Null, drop the cut down. Take the end. Alright, we cut Nissa. Cut the Outland Liberator. The thinking here is we have to have the big target removal. Alright, so we start with Evolved Sleeper. Bring in the Dread Knight as a body. Alright, great. I think we still bring this next Dread Knight in as a body. We could have boosted that to a 2/2 before the attack. That's a misplay right there. 1 damage. But we have 2 Dread Knights on board. That's 6 total damage on board. Not bad for 2/2 drops. Brimstone Null hits nothing. So we figure out they're a control version of Rakdos with that interaction. Hit for 6, they're down to 3. We bring in Shelly. They play big score, so they're going to be able to play something large next turn. Is it going to be enough though? I think it's too little too late here. Okay, they used the mana to kill Shelly. They don't have enough for Chandra. Another big score. Play a land. Brotherhood's End with the treasure tokens. We play the god. Haslim. Chandra comes down and uses herself up, all loyalty counters to kill the god. We bring down Virtue of Persistence. 15-1. I think this is what seals it here. They cycle. 3 mana available, 4 mana available, 1 card in hand. I think that's it. So we bring in Shelly. Pass. That's it. Game 1. Alright. Dropping Evolved Sleeper, bringing in Sheldred's Edict. Adding Nissa back into the mix. Duress. 2 Duresses come back in. So we figure out that they have like they're very controlly. They have the Cruelty of Gix, they have Chandra. So we do have some really expensive cards to worry about. They're really playing like a mid-range / control hybrid of Rakdos here. Of course, in the present, you're dealing with mid-range versus or aggro versus control. Those 2 versions of Rakdos, it kind of split up a little bit here. But here in mid-December, you're seeing the Rakdos that's a mixture of both. The Decadent Dragon. We keep that very juicy hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, as you see there. Get rid of Shelly. We have an Natali as well. What's good about Dream Still and Oil is the exile effect. You don't have to worry about them reanimating that card. Getting a little help in the DreamHack stream. We're at the Greater Hub at this point, so yeah, that's all that is. We did all new equipment that we're trying to advertise. It was a fun experience. I really had a lot of great times at DreamHack with the MTG Rebellion. Go check out that channel, by the way, on YouTube. Really great weekly content. Okay, so they Field of Ruin our cottage, but we use the mana to create a 1/1 token with the Mirex. We just have Go for Throat and the End in our hand. So just the Mites and Liliana. And we're playing the discard game. They want that Natali bad. So, oof. They hit us with the Duress. They get rid of the End. They just have Go for the Throat. I mean, we just have 2 Go for the Throats now. We're going up and up and up with Liliana. Alright. Liliana basically gets to ultimate, and they see that happening next turn, so we get the win right here. We rank up Platinum Tier 2. Alright, next match. 2 lands in the opening hand. 1, 2, 3. And then eventually Nissa and another Dreadwood Knight with a curve. So very cool. Be awesome if I was playing with the current iteration with this kind of hand. The 1-drop was a creature, but Dream Still and Oil is really nice, especially against a Rakdos aggro, which is or a Jund aggro, I think. Aggro either way. We get rid of one of their aggro options. Deep Cavern Bat gets rid of Cruelty of Gix. Looks like a mid-range Jund pile that we're faced off against in this set. Ivar. Little self-mill action. Nothing comes of it though. And yeah, we decide to just get the draw. We get the Shelly. Shelly just kind of, that allows us to curve out really well there. We decide to go with the Skitter, go wide. And that's the end of the first match. We're way too aggressive for them there. Dreams of Steel and Oil really set us up, I believe. Alright, so looks like we're increasing copies of Duress, decreasing copies of Evolved Sleeper, going up on Trinkle Throwback all the way to 3. We dropped the Nissa, we dropped the Virtue of Persistence, we dropped the Sorin. So really just lightening the load here, making sure we're nimble enough to respond to the opponent. My god, I kept that hand. You see the 3 Deep Cavern Bats, we cranked it down to 2. We get a decent curve, then we draw the 3rd land. They open up with a Dream Thief, we open up with a Bat. Make sure we swallow the Tyvar so they don't have their big turn 3 play. They bring out a 2/3 creature I don't see a lot of. Viper, the Black Viper. Cut down gets rid of it. Alright, they play Charming Scoundrel, turn 4. We have a Bat. We see the Cruelty of Gix, so we're going to get rid of that. We're just playing a defensive tempo game right here. And then Dreams of Steel and Oil gets rid of Titan of Industry right there. Awesome play. The Charming Scoundrel comes down for the opponent. And we're just in a Mexican standoff situation, but I have the more powerful cards. We're just waiting to draw any kind of land, any kind of mana. And I'll start to open things up. So we decide to lose the life, draw another card. We draw a Dreams of Steel and Oil. Fortunately, they get to play their next Titan. So all of our efforts were for naught. We were mana hungry that matchup. So we go to game 3. Looks like no Evolved Sleeper. We're at 3 Duress, 3 Dreams of Steel and Oil. What else? I saw I added some. Did I add the Nissa? I did add the Nissa back in. We got rid of one of the throwbacks. Alright, so 3 lander, that's ideally what you want. Even though we don't have a 1-drop or a 3-drop. All 2-drops and then the Aclazotz, which is not too bad. We can draw more cards with the Mosswood if we need to. We could draw into something to help us curve out if we need to. Bat. Follows up the removal. Bitter Triumph. Then Dream Thief. I see Squirming Emergence and Carnosaur in their hands, so they are definitely going to try to reanimate with that. Alright, so we killed the 2/3 Soul Coil Viper. Swing with the Red Knight. Hit for 3, down to 17. We're going to be able to go either way, Aclazotz or Nissa next turn. They're really just trying to self-mill and use the Carnosaur right now. So we play the Aclazotz. Swing with the Dread Knight. They double block here. Kill my Bat. Grab the Bitter Triumph back. They really want to use it on Aclazotz, I can tell. Alright, game 3. Are they going to be able to reanimate the Carnosaur and get that Discover 5? That's what they're going to be aiming for here with the Squirming Emergence. We make them start discarding though. Aclazotz puts pressure on them. They discard another ideal reanimation target here. We're just going to go ahead and crank up the Nissa. +1. We had to pay with 1 Phyrexian mana. They get rid of Nissa, but we still get the 6/6. They've used their Bitter Triumph. They do get to bring in the Carnosaur. And they get a Charming Scoundrel off of it. We kill the Carnosaur with a Go for the Throat straight up. They cash in the Dream Thief. 20-8. Bring in the Bat. No card in hand to steal, but we make them discard it with the Aclazotz anyway. And that's game. Woo! That one was really exciting. So you can imagine how high energy I was at the time. at DreamHack, just going through all those matches. Live at DreamHack. This was a wild run. So 3rd set with Golgari. At the DreamHack stream anyway. We mulligan, see the 4-lander. We can always put a land back. One of my cards is Nissa though, so we are eventually going to have the 5 mana to be able to play that. And then so it's 1/5. That's our curve. Evolve Sleeper. You can see why Evolve Sleeper was a choice for me back then as the 1-drop card, because it is a mana sink. If you're in those situations where you get a crappy hand like that, you can, you know, spend some mana on something valuable. We lose the Sleeper, bring in a Dread Knight. So they're using up all their removal right now. We bring back the Dread Knight. Chilling. We see the Bear Triumph in their hand. We'll be able to bring in a Nissa next turn anyway, so I can gummy up the board with that card. We don't do that either though. Restless Cottage. Just use the resources at play. They're gonna Besage you here. We're gonna, you know, do our thing. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe we can get 7 mana and bring in a full-powered Nissa. That would be cool, too. Still have removal. They have the End. They have their Triumph. So things are looking pretty rough. Right here, we decide to, you know, okay, bring it in with still a big, powerful card. We +1, get a 6/6. Keep pressure on the opponent. Force them to use the removal on stuff that they wouldn't want to. They didn't have to. So they get rid of Nissa. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and play the Sheldred. We're going to keep pressure on them with the Dread Knight. They use the End, of course. Right? Get rid of the big bad. But we still have another big bad in our hand. That's what I love about Golgari, is it stacks the heavy creatures. And you can see it really playing out in this situation here. They go down to 2. Heavily under pressure. Sentinel in the Nameless City. I know they wish they had that earlier. It becomes a 4/5. Doesn't matter. We get the match. So we go into sideboarding. What do I do here? Okay. So we go back to the 3/3 on Dreams of Steel and Oil and Duress. We're cutting the Virtue of Persistence. We cut the Lord Skitter. 3 Gix. This iteration has 3 Gix. Okay, 2-lander. Seems like I'm always having to keep 2 landers. Alright, so Duress, they've got the removal. We'll get rid of Go for the Throat. Dreams Still in Oil. We know they have some heavy hitters in hand, so we'll get rid of Glissa, which is a 3-drop. We could have got rid of Shelly, but I have Deep Cavern Bat, so, you know, who knows. So they Edict to get rid of Gix. We have 2 copies, so it's okay. Deep Cavern Bat comes in. We're going to remove the removal, of course. We do get our next land. We hit Gix, Deep Cavern Bat combo coming in. Love the low evasive creatures plus Gix. Always great to have and to see. So we have Nissa, we have Glissa, and that's game. Our opponent just doesn't have the right cards. We disrupted them enough, and you know, they mana droughted otherwise. So consistency is what this deck is all about, and that's one of the reasons you want to play Golgari Aggro. Alright, 4th and final set of this particular stream at DreamHack. Golly, 5-lander. 5 lands, but of course we have Shelly and Sorin, so we have a game plan. We're just hoping to draw some playable cards here. And it doesn't happen, we're starting to flood. Continuing to flood. Gotta love the shuffler when you're live at DreamHack. Alright, but we eventually get to play Sorin. We did go first, so that actually played into our advantage. They make a sacrifice to Sorin, unfortunately, with Invasion of Azgul. We do play Aclazotz. Love that card, by the way. They steal the Aclazotz. We have to discard. You know, we're gonna get it back, but or are we? So sacrificed. We're getting stomped by this Rakdos sacrifice deck here. We've used up all our cards except the Shelly to reduce them to almost nothing. They sacrificed the last creature to Ob Nixilis, so they have double Ob Nixilis going. Go ahead and play the Evolved Sleeper. I think we can activate the Aquazots here. Play Sheldred. Go up to the 2/2. You know, why not? And we start to grind. Obnixilis shown its value. They have the Steam vents as well, the Restless vents, sorry, as well. Alright, we dual block. We kill the Evolved Sleeper. We take out their land, their creature land. Aquazots comes back tapped. Kelly attacks one of the Obnixilises. Of course, they block with their Devil. Alright, 11 to 26. Not looking too good. We have a tall hill to climb. But Mirrex, we have a Mirrex that we can activate each turn while in top deck mode. Their Obnixilises continue to grow, getting closer and closer to their ultimates. So we have to swing an Aquazots in that direction. Also has lifelink, so that really helps us to get back into the game. Combination of Shelly plus the life gain from Aquazots. So the score is now 16 to 15. We've taken the lead. And it's gotten to the point now where we can start, you know, really pushing in their front door with a Restless Cottage. Boom, boom, boom. Down to nothing. Clear board. And, I mean, it is looking like our game now. We have completely turned the tables. Alright, so we grabbed game 1 in amazing fashion. This deck really turned the tables on that Rakdos Obnixilis. Just slugging it out, which is what this deck does best. The Resses come in. We're back to the 3-3 game plan. Evolved Sleeper comes out. We bring in Sheldred's Edict. I think that's it. So that max damage makes me want to drink water. They begin with Stalactite Stalker. Another 1-drop evasive creature you can use to combine with Gix. Other options, so to speak. We use our Deep Cavern back to get rid of the removal. Braids. Ballista comes in on our side. So we're gaining life. Sacrificing Tenacious Underdog, see if we'll do that in turn, but no. Damage instead. Dreams of Steel and Oil comes in to kill a Stalactite Stalker from their hand. Gix comes in. We swing with both of these nice creatures to swing with. Definitely a good situation to swing into as well. Alright, so they're slimming their board to try to get some kind of card advantage, but it is not working. And so we are just grinding it out. Like I said, this deck grinds it out, and that's why I think it's the preferred deck in most of the Rakdos matchups, as you saw earlier too. So we rank up Platinum Tier 1. Not bad. Not bad at all. Give me, this is the final set with Golgari at DreamHack. Let's take a look. Alright. They begin, Mr. Orange begins with Lunar Veteran. We want to see what they're playing with. It looks like mono white humans. So we either have a choice of Brutal Cathar or Kellen here. We're going to take the Kellen, I believe. We don't want them to regrow or grow their board state at all. Upcoat Vanguard comes down for them. It's fine. We're going to kill it with the Go for the Throw on turn 2. Then we have Liliana as well. But can't protect her yet. So Lord Skitter is going to come down. Present a threat. And then we bring in the Liliana. Ooh, not a great situation. Definitely going to get rid of our Liliana with that. Then bring in the Phantom, and then bring in an Initiate. Alright, so we go up to 5 mana. Red Knight and Ballista come down on our side. We have 2 map tokens from the Get Lost that they played. Mean Pakal is just such a house. Such a house in that list. It's looking like it's not mono white humans, it's Boros humans. A deck that I also play. Go check out my video on Boros Aggro. Alright, so what do we do here? Raw. The bodies, we need that Gix. we withstand the onslaught? Big question. Cut down doesn't hit the things we want it to hit. Map token reveals Mossweak Dread Knight. Decide just to swing with the Glissa. Just fine. Could have done this before, but we decided to cut down Phantom here. Fortunately, Cathar takes our Shelly. And they bring in a Recruitment Officer. Empty hand. 15 to 16 is the score. I mean, they have tons of gnome tokens here. 4 or 5, a need for call. We decide to swing with the Cottage. Big pressure. Alright. Fortunately, we didn't do the math there, and looking back, I would not have swung, because that leaves us open on the swing back. How are we going to overcome this deficit? We already created for ourselves. So we have the 2 copies of the Cut Down. Listening Deluge, doubling up on that. Since it hits white, it makes those -3/-3. They can hit those 3 toughness creatures as well. Path of Peril, we bring that in as well. No duresses because we are playing against a creature deck, so it's 3/3 on the Evolved Sleeper and Dreams of Steel and Oil, 2 cut downs as well in that 1-drop slot. We decide to go ahead and cut the Evolved Sleeper. I think we bring in Sheldred's Edict, right? We cut the Nissa. I'm trying to slim down, so we cut the Sorin too. We cut the Lord Skitter. Should have brought in that Sheldred's Edict, but it's okay. Alright, we give back one of the bats. We want to trick them into loading up on the board state here. We take the Inner Sky Warden, the Dreams of Steel and Oil. We don't want that to get big. Keep tapping that. Kind of try to coax them out. Play their stuff. Although, doesn't get hit by Path of Peril. So we have to go the way of bringing out our Shelly. Wing here. We just don't see it coming with the Aganjo. Kellen, we kill Kellen with the Cut Down, and then answer with Glissa and the 1/1 bat swinging. 21 to 16. Swing with both here. Draw a card. And we can play the Dreams of Steel and Oil against the 1 card in their hand, but decide not to. Probably should have, because it probably was that Coppercoat Vanguard. Doesn't matter, though. We have a go for the throat for it. Anyway, we go to game 3. We do bring in that Sheldred's Edict. We drop our Path of Perils to do so. Good adjustment, Max. Good adjustment. Okay. So, we begin Recruitment Officer. We have a stacked hand. So long as we actually get to 5 mana, we have a stacked hand. At a disadvantage since they are on the play. Boros Aggro. 2 mana, kill the Recruitment Officer. Probably could have not done that. But Dreams of Steel and Oil helps us to get rid of another threat. Kill the last threat with Sheldred's Edict. We figure if they bounce back, they're going to bounce back hard. So we keep the Glistening Deluge just in case. Take that damage. I have a Wandering Emperor plus an Adeline on the board. Tokens galore. Things aren't looking great. They bring in the Thousand Moon Smithy. Bring out the Sheldred. Go ahead and swing. We kill that token. Peacekeeper. barely stay alive. We are at 2, ladies and gents. So we lose that set because of the Adeline. It outmaneuvered our Glistening Deluge. We weren't able to stabilize beyond that point. So yeah, that can happen sometimes against a more aggressive list. You have to watch out with Golgari when you're building it. Make sure that you are playing with enough board wipes, enough removal for the things that dodge, you know, especially bigger than 3 tokens. You gotta worry about your Adelines and whatnot. But in any case, let's go back over and see what sort of adjustments we make to the deck. This is where the deck stood sort of at the midpoint, right? We want the 3 Gix. We drop Sentinel of a Nameless City down to 1 at that point right there. We cut it all together. Looks like we still keep the 1 Lord Skitter, the 1 Sentinel of the Nameless City, but we're definitely going up on our evasive creatures plus Gix ratio as being kind of central to the deck. At this point, we're in Diamond. Cut down to remove Skrelv. Oh my gosh, that card. Looks like we're playing against Mono White Toxic. It could be Vant Toxic. I think it's Mono White Toxic, though. Like, what the heck? First time we've seen this list in, like, 6 months, maybe? At this point right here. This stream is on December 19th. It's the day after my birthday, actually. Alright, Deep Cavern Bat swings. We have Glissa on the board. They have 2 Skrelv's Hives, and they quit. They know that we can... Those can't block, and they know that Glissa can destroy the Skrelv's Hives. So, I guess that was all they had. We do bring in full copies of Duress up to 3. We do cut the Dreams of Steel and Oil. I don't know why. If I'm being quite honest. Cut the Lord Skitter. Go for the throats because we're thinking, oh, they have a ton of artifact creatures. Eldritch Edict comes in, Outland Liberator, Glistening Deluge, interestingly enough, because that does get rid of most of their stuff, right? Really crushes the might. Alright, Restless Cottage first. Opponent has no turn 2 play, interestingly enough. Kazia's welcome first. I guess that they want to draw the cards from that, is probably why. Glissa comes out. Lay down arms, good target for that. Gix comes out. Alright. Might attack. Ossification for our Gix. Kill one of their mites. Enough for Cottage to come out. Destroy Evil on our Cottage. Destroy Evil, probably a really good sideboard card for them against us. Alright, it's Might on Might. They have 3 poison counters on us already and 3 mites. So we go Bat. What do we want to get rid of here? The Depopulate. Okay. Token. We want to slow down the mites. Make sure that ours stay on the board, right? Calling Chorus. Kazia's welcome. Gets them to draw a card off of that. So we're both in top deck mode, it's safe to say. Kill another mite. Alright, the health points don't matter as much as the poison counters, right? With both here. Gix does get us to draw a card, but they create a mite, so they get to draw a card too from the Takazi's welcome. We draw Kazlan, the god. Double Takazi's welcome on the opponent's side. Swinging with 2 more mites. Create a mite with the Mirex. Play the god. 5 and 2 is the poison counter count, and they figure, you know, we're just overwhelming them at this point, right? Even though they get to draw cards, we're playing bigger and bigger things the later and later the game gets. So, le victoire. On to the next set. Our first point's in Diamond. Alright. Deep Cavern Bat reveals a Topiary Stomper. Don't want Domain to ramp. Red Knight body side. Probably the better choice at this point. Cottage comes in tapped. Another Deep Cavern Bat. You love Deep Cavern Bat against Domain. Just get rid of all their ramp pieces. Keep hitting. Invasion of Zendikar hits for them. They're up to 6 lands now. We decide to bring in the God. They're down to 10. We have lethal on the board. They have to cycle. 4 lands. Nothing. That's game. Game 3. Doesn't matter. They're at 2. They lose 2 because of Sheldred. Oh! Game 3 off of Herd Migration, so they're at 3 now. To live one more turn to concede. Alright, so the rest is Dreams of Steel and Oil, 3 and 3. We remove the cut down. We introduce Liliana the Veil to the picture. Just to go for the throats down to 1. We figured, you know, removal isn't as key as making sure we get rid of the pieces that they play to get to the cards that we want to remove. Like, by the time it tracks the land, it's already too late in the matchup. Alright, let's duress our opponent here. I love the hand hate in this matchup. Get rid of Leyline Binding. Play the Herd Migration. We have Dreams and we have Duress. We decide to go with Glissa. They can't Sunfall just yet. Another Herd Migration channel. Invasion of Zendikar comes in. What do we do here? First we attack with Glissa. I draw the card. I think we duress them for one of the Sunfalls. Draw an extra card. May as well, right? We're going to lose our Glissa to Sunfall. Want them to get minimal value off that board wipe. Attack with, they let us live, so we attack with the Glissa, draw another card. May as well. And then Deep Cavern Bat. This is why you don't let it sit around. Temporary Lockdown or Sunfall. Just make it 2 steps to get to your Sunfall, right? I mean, I know we lose the bat because of Temporary Lockdown, but like I just said, make them take 2 steps. Even then, Glissa is still on the field. Bring in the Cottage. Use Passeju to kill the Cottage. Kill the Temporary Lockdown, get back your bat, take the Sunfall. I love that sequence right there. Love it. Alright. Lonely Topiary Stomper out there is their only defense. We've got the Gix. Drawing cards. Drawing cards. Drawing cards and chewing bubblegum. We're all out of gum. Our opponent draws a lucky depopulate. 22 to 11 is where we're stuck at. We got Dread Knights, so, you know, we have bodies we can use. Sentinel comes down. We play Dread Knight. We boost Sentinel with the map token, revealing another Dread Knight on top. A Sunfall. Drop another land. Dreams of Steel and Oil to reveal their final card, which is a Chrome Host Seed Shark. Aquazats. Red Knight, the body. Opponent top decks a land. Do that. We do Nissa, full power Nissa. +1. Draw Deep Cavern Bat. I mean, it's over at this point. Down to 6. And they top deck. And Atraxa. Right? Lucky top deck. Lucky top deck. Although, alright, so Leyline Binding gets rid of our Nissa. Very unfortunate. What do we do here? Deep Cavern Bat, do Snatch, their Archangel of Wrath. Draw a card, play Sheldred, play Gix, swing with everything. We have an 8/8 coming in. They block the Acklazotz. They're going to take 11. They go up to 2 from -5. And they give up. Like, this is we have resources, we have recursive threats. There's no way. You know what I mean? Like, we're drawing cards, we're going to be able to remove that Atraxa. No, they give up. We get the victory. More points in Diamond. Alright, so let's see what happens in this match. This will be the 11th match, the final match that we'll analyze. Adversary and Swift Spear. We're playing against Mono Red. How does this deck do against Mono Red? I was saying earlier, I mean, if you noticed earlier, decks that are lighter can get right underneath. Already seen it happen tonight. Glissa. That's gaining us health. Very necessary health. They're going really wide. Witchstalker's Frenzy our bat. Down to 5. And Glissa gets hit. That's it. Boom. Haste threats. It doesn't matter. Alright, so we have to go for the lower removal. Right, we need that Sheldr's Edict. Do we bring in that Sheldra? Do we bring in... We lose the Dream Thieves. I see that. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to sideboard against Mono Red. Didn't come equipped with very much. You have to go very heavy into cut down to stand a chance. Path of Peril does help. We cut down their Swift Spear. Let's see. This is a match where we try to remove. Golgari keep up in that sort of matchup against Mono Red. Sometimes it can. You take the Lightning Strike with Deep Cavern Bat. 2 Swift Spears on the board. They Witchstalker Frenzy away our bat. They get that back. We're going to rest away the Lightning Strike and kill one of the Swift Spears. Have Squee in hand. Forge. Forge is just going to grind us out. Yeah, we kill the Squee. But if we don't top deck something, it's not going to matter. Alright, here comes Glissa. Or no. Nope, we go for the, yeah, we get rid of the Squee with the Cottage. Not going to be enough, though. Down to 1. That's game. Adversary. That's game. Yeah. So, you can see that's our record, 8-3 with Golgari over the month of December. It did help us get over a large path to Mythic. Let's take a look at the most recent iteration of the list in our wrap-up. So, we have here, take a look at the list. We decided on 2 cut down. I know Deep Cavern Bat forces a lot of the low-end removal. But if you don't overcommit to that, then you have room for a lot of other pieces that make Golgari strong in the mid-game. So it's really, depending on what you're seeing in the meta, whether you decide to do that or not. Dreams of Steel and Oil and Duress are just so good in this deck. There's so many decks that play a combination of creature and non-creature spells, both. Especially Domain, you know, if you're thinking about that, that deck in particular, you're seeing a lot of Domain. Dreams of Steel and Oil hits that Atraxa and makes it go away. It takes away the Reanimator threats from Rakdos. So Dreams of Steel and Oil is kind of an unsung hero. It's a Deep Cavern Bat world. We're all just living in it. So no explanation for that. 4 go for the throats. You want good removal. We're starting to see some really mid-range heavy aggro style decks. Big pieces like the ones we're playing in this very deck. 4 Moss with Dread Knights. The recursive threat from that is amazing for the deck. You obviously want to have a full play set of that. And then Gix, we decided on 2. We decided not to go with the game plan that we were kind of leaning towards, sort of in the middle that you saw there, with, you know, the Dream Thief or Evolved Sleeper into a 2-drop into Gix. Yes, that is a very awesome curve when it happens, but you're going to see in the more grindier matchups is 1-drops are still 1-drops. They're not going to help you as much as you like. But Blissa is a great thing to have a 2 of. The card you want to invest in, I want to highlight Preacher of the Schism. This card can really be the mirror breaker, and it can also break the back of other decks that play it as well with Rakdos. Rakdos is starting to play this card. It shows its value very quickly in the matchup. So Preacher provides value, dodges a lot of the removal, and the smaller board wide. It's a 4 toughness creature, so Brotherhood's End doesn't get to it. We're also playing with 3 Archfiend of the Dross. This is kind of the new card that we're throwing into Golgari. The wall against aggro. And you're also going to see that it achieves a Massacre Worm style effect when you pair it with Path of Peril. So that's another reason why you might want to have Archfiend of the Dross. Of course, we're going to 3 Shelly, not 4 Shelly, but 3 Shelly because decks, I mean, why wouldn't you want... 2 Shelly is just not enough for Golgari. I think Golgari can really push this, considering it's got the early, stuff that draws out the removal, right? Bosswood Dread Knight, Eat Cavern Bat, eats up your opponent's removal. Aclazotz is amazing for the same reason that, I kept the Green God in here as well. They're both recursive threats in the late game, doing their thing, and if your opponent, they're must answer. And by this time, you've already baited out quite a bit of their removal. 1 Gix's command because it's a pseudo board wipe, but it also brings things back to your hand from your graveyard that your opponent might remove in the more grindier matchups, like against Esper, like against Rakdos. Mana base, I still keep the full playset of Restless Cottages. Sideboard is oriented toward the, similar to what we saw in the beginning. We have 2 Lord Skitters, we push them to the sideboard. We want to have Graveyard Hate. There are Graveyard decks right now, the Cave decks, Reanimator decks, Rakdos in particular, the Sultai Emergence deck. You're seeing those on ladder, so you do want to have some Graveyard Hate. Graveyard Trespassers are 3 toughness. They're both 3 toughness creatures, but this one will, army in a can. It can really grow, especially in light of the fact that you have Gix in the deck. 2 Outland Liberators in the sideboard for the Artifact Enchantment Hate. Tranquil Throwback there as well, especially against Mono Red where you get to gain the 4 life. And then the 1 copy of Nissa, we also push to the sideboard rather than have it in the main board. But we kept the 2 Virtue of Persistence because there's a big Reanimator game plan out there, and against the other bigger decks, there's enough stuff, enough creature-rich graveyards for you to rob from that I think it warrants that card. So that's the breakdown for Golgari Aggro. Be sure to like this video and subscribe for more updates on more archetypes coming. We've got Esper, we've got Domain definitely coming, along with a couple of more archetype guides future. So subscribe to Max Damage All Nines and check me out on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/maxdamage9999. That's 4 9s. Love to see you there. I stream Magic the Gathering Arena on Friday nights and Saturday nights where we climb ladder, essentially with the most competitive decks. Right now, playing a lot of Standard because the RCQ season is coming up. So go check that out. Thank you guys for watching. As I always say, be good to each other out there. Stay safe. Peace.